This is Chris, the Idaho Painter, here on Paint Live TV. Here I got a situation that I've got to resolve, and I'm going to show you how I resolve this. And this is one of these things where somebody's gotten paint all over a window. This could be a ceiling too, but this is a metal window where we've gotten caulking and paint on the metal window, and it would almost be impossible to get it off. And I'm going to show you how you can use frog tape and clear caulking to create a new line, a nice straight line in a very extreme situation that'll make this look a lot better. So stay tuned for this video. All right, so we've got caulking and paint that has come out on this metal window, I guess miles and miles out on the window. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really bad. So what I'm gonna do, and usually you don't see it this bad, but I'm gonna create a new line with frog tape and create a nice straight line. I'm gonna choose the farthest point that caulking is out on the window, and then I'm gonna just mask straight down from that point. I don't wanna have a wavy line, I wanna have a straight line. Some of it is out really far, and I could just cut right through it, but I'm gonna choose the farthest point out, which is right here, and now I'm gonna begin masking a straight line down this window. And you don't have to use clear caulking if the surface is really smooth. This is a really, really smooth surface. So I'm not sure if it was bumpy, like if it was a textured surface, I definitely would be using a clear caulking. So I've got a caulking gun with a dripless caulking gun that I'd be using clear caulking on. But what happens with the caulking, on a smooth surface like this, it'll leave a ridge, a tiny little ridge, and I'm thinking I might not want that on this window. So I'm gonna just try to do it without it, and we'll see how it turns out. So I'm just masking this perfectly straight line down this window. I'm just gonna push on my frog tape so nothing will bleed through there. And I've chosen a distance about a ½ inch, out on this window. Right there, just like that. Now, I'm just gonna paint as usual, and the paint I'm using will bond and stick to that. So it's classified as a self-priming coating, but we really know that there is no such thing as self-priming paints. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush paint on this, and I don't want to brush really hard, or I don't want to roll really hard, because you'll be pressing the paint up against the tape, and you could force it underneath the tape. So I'm going to be very careful, just be light-handed, and just brush a nice heavy coat on this. And I want it heavy enough that I don't have to come back and put another coat on here. And I want to make sure I get it all the way out on my window so I don't have any missed spots. And you'll end up seeing how this will correct the situation, make it look a lot better. Now this isn't ideal, but I didn't create the situation. But this is a way that you can make it look significantly better. So I'm just using light touches. It's good to use like an interior brush, like a Premier Hampton when doing this technique. I've been painting in here using this Riverdale, which is a little bit stiff, but it's working with this paint, because this is an extremely thick paint. Now the next step, once I get this painted, is to not let your paint dry or your caulking dry. If you were doing it on a bumpy surface, if I was using the clear caulking, I'd want to put that clear caulking on quickly and then get it off, because if your caulking dries or your paint dries, you're going to have what we call bridging, and it's going to peel off from your tape to your surface you're cutting in. So here we go. We're gonna pull it off here and see if I made, the right choice by not using a clear caulking this time. Been doing this technique for a lot of years. I've had a lot of success doing this and making corrections, fixing people's mistakes. So now I'm just gonna pull this off. And the color I'm painting is very similar to the window color, and that's one of the reasons why I can get away with painting out onto the window, a ½ inch. I mean, if you were a drastic change like black to white, you wouldn't be able to get away with it as much. But there we go. Got one spot, where it bled through, it probably didn't push down on my tape good enough, but that is a nice laser straight line. It's covered the caulking, and one of the things about the exposed caulking that was here that's not painted just gathers dirt and dust over time, gets dirty, starts to yellow. So now all the caulking is completely painted and it won't yellow, and this will dry and look a lot better now. Got a few drips we got to correct here carefully. So now this is the frog tape blue. So this is the same as the frog tape green, except it's contractor packed. So it comes in 4 packs, has the same polymer that swells up on the edge of the tape like green, but it's just less expensive because it's in contractor packs, and doesn't have as high quality of paper as the green tape. So it's a great tape. I was going to use clear caulking if I needed to caulk on a bumpy surface, because that's just going to ensure that you're going to get a laser straight line with your frog tape. So there we go. We corrected that problem. I think it looks a lot better myself. It'll even look a lot better once it dries. If you get any bleeding through anywhere, you can go back and correct it after it's completely dry. I would just take a razor blade. There's one little spot I had some bleeding on it, and I'll correct that with a razor blade and fix that. This is a simple little method. I use this a lot on windows. I use this method on ceilings when people have got the wall color onto the ceiling, significantly. You can just go back and take your cut in or tape and make an edge onto the ceiling a little bit more, and you can correct the problem. Hopefully you've enjoyed this simple little tip, correcting mistakes that were made from previous people. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time we come out with a new video. If you got any questions or comments about this technique that I use, just leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer your comments or questions as soon as I can. Subscribe, notification bell, out.